So you know we here at YOLO Texas always love a good story, and we also love a really good bar, which brings us to the Celt Irish Pub. So check the story out. This building right behind me used to be a brothel back in the 1800s, but now serves as your everyday local modern bar. So as you can tell, we have lots of exploring and drinking to do. So come with me, and let's get this night started.
Back in the 1885, this was known as the Rambo Saloon, and it was a brothel at the time.
Yeah.
It's got a long history of outlaws and bootleggers and you name it.
Yeah.
Jesse James has played in this very pool hall. Supposedly Bonnie and Clyde came through here in the 1930s.
Really?
So it's got a very colorful history in the past. So some very good, interesting stories.
So why now a Irish pub?
It's one of those stories where your college buddies are sitting around and wouldn't it be great to own a pub?
Yeah.
and I carried through on that. So it's been a labor of love, this old building, and we did get named in 2019 and 2020 by Irish Pubs Global as the #1 Irish pub in all of the Americas, North and South.
Hey, congrats.
And the year before that, we were named the #1 Irish whiskey experience in North America.
Amazing.
So so we try to keep it real.
Amen to that, amen to that. Okay, so we cannot be inside a bar, talking about a bar, and not talk about the drinks. So what are some of the specialties? What do you serve up here?
Guinness is our #1 beer seller, month in, month out. But we also have a wide selection of almost 70 Irish whiskeys, a staff that is well trained in that. It really is a labor of love for us and something that we are passionate about.
So as part of our normal whiskey tastings, we do 3 to 5 different whiskeys in a class. And I've selected 3 different ones for you today, which are representative of the 3 different main types of Irish whiskies. The first being a blended whiskey, which is made up of some malt whiskey and some grain whiskey, grain alcohol whiskey. So this first one is called Jameson Cooper's Crows. And
so this is the blend.
This is a blend.
Okay.
And we'll let it sit for a second or two just to let the air clear it, yeah.
So let it sit,
just so that some air can get to it.
Okay. So for this one,
yes.
What should I smell? What note should I taste?
So there'll be a lot of vanilla in the nose because it comes from the bourbon barrels that it's matured in. Because most Irish whiskey is matured in a bourbon barrel, and that gives that vanilla flavour. And then being a really good Irish whiskey, you'll get a nice honey note on the palate.
Oh.
And then,
yes, I like its little sweetness to it.
And then because it's a Jameson whiskey, they tend to be a little bit more spicy in the finish.
Yeah.
So you get a little bit of spiciness in the finish.
Right when you said spicy, boom, hit.
Yeah.
I love that. It was like a whole experience.
Yes. And then the second one we have is a pot still. So that's a mixture of malted and unmalted barley. And that's distilled in a traditional pot still that you would normally see bourbon or any other whiskey made in.
Okay, makes sense.
And this is a single malt.
Okay.
So this means it comes from one distillery, in this case Tullamore, and it's 100% malted barley.
Okay.
So here we have Redbreast, 15. 15 means that it's the youngest whiskey it came out of the barrel.
Okay.
So there could be some 50-year-old whiskey in there could be some 20-year-old, but the youngest whiskey by law has to be 50 years old.
Little teenagers.
Yeah, and 15 is kind of an older kind of age for Irish whiskey. You don't tend to get older Irish whiskies. You tend to get up to the 20s, about the oldest.
Okay.
Whereas in Scotch, you'll get 30s, 40s, 50s, and older.
I can only imagine what those are like.
Yeah. So this one is a little bit more complex. A little bit more complex. You'll still get a lot of vanilla. But you get some oak, you've got an older whiskey, so you get a little bit more oak-aced as well in the palate.
It kind of tastes like you said, oaky but leathery. Is that I should taste that?
Yeah, and everybody will taste something different. I mean, because not everybody's palate is the same. So you will get a different flavour in that whiskey than I will get on it usually. And then as the finish in that one again, it's a little bit spicy.
I could definitely see me sipping on this for sure. This was kind of way too smooth going down and dangerous.
And that's the older it gets, the smoother it gets.
Oh my goodness, I can only, okay, this is only a 15, okay.
Also a good way to maybe pair your whiskey with, we'll give you some of our fish and chips, which we're famous for, so I hope you enjoy those.
Perfect, thank you. All right, so what makes this the #1 Irish pub of the year is not only their whiskey classes, but it's also the experience. So sometimes during their classes, they'll pair their whiskeys, their Irish whiskeys, with a food. And so we got the traditional fish and chips, so let's give it a try. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. If you want to try something really unique, try this Scotch Egg. I've never tried this before, but I know it's going to taste amazing. Oh yeah. Right from the get-go, it's delicious. Oh my goodness.
Well, Aaron, the thing is about an Irish pub is you got to know how to pour the perfect wine. It is somewhat of an art form. It does take a little bit of time. It takes a little over 2 minutes to pour. You have to let it settle for 119.5 seconds, and it's a mixture of perfect angle and a perfect handling of the glass.
Okay.
And then when you hold the glass, you want it to be held at a 45-degree angle,
okay.
And you want to open up the nozzle 100%, let the nitrogen come on down, and right as it gets about 75%, you want to tilt it up, release, and then you want to let it sit.
Okay.
Well, now it's your turn. Let's see if you learned anything.
I'm so nervous. Okay, here we go. I'm going. So you don't want the nozzle
to ever touch, so hold it at this angle, and right when that beer kind of gets to the top of the harp, a little more, okay, up. And next you want to grab your glass, and this is when you push the handle forwards and slowly let it fill up. Okay. And you want to leave a nice dome on top, but then that's it. It's going to settle for just a second longer. So from one Irish pub bartender to a new one over here.
All right.
Sláinte.
Sláinte. We did it. All right, y'all, so as the Irish Texans say, Sláinte, y'all. I hope I said that right. And I think we celebrated everything we could here, right here at the Celt. I'm gonna finish drinking this perfectly poured Guinness pint, and I'm gonna call it a night. See y'all.